Uh, Namaskar and welcome to back to GeoIntellect YouTube channel, which is part of the Geospatial Lab, Fakeermon University. Today, we will be discussing about a recent meteorological extreme event, a localized tornadic storm that wreaked havoc in Karanjia uh, of Mayurbhanj district, Odisha. In this session, will help to understand in simple terms the science behind how much powerful the storm formed, uh, how heat, moisture from the Bay of Bengal, changing wind pattern come together to create a rare, intense event. We'll also focus on what makes the region like Mayurbhanj vulnerable to such sudden disasters these localized Norwester tornado or hailstone in last year. Most importantly, we'll guide you on do's and don'ts during these extreme events so that communities can stay safe and prepared. Understanding these processes is the first step toward reducing risk and building resilience against future weather extremes.
As per media reports, this extreme event observed on 15th March uh, afternoon is a very rare event which has caused havoc in Karanjia block of Mayurbhanj, Odisha. Around 10,000 villages from 12 villages and 5 gram panchayats were affected, and there were two casualty, 8 people severely injured, and around 50 other injured. Additionally, 200 houses were damaged due to strong winds associated with these extreme events. Then there is a big debate that can we call this a nor'wester or a tornado. So if you see, most of the people think that the tornado happens mostly in America, where warm, moisture, wind interact with a cold, dry wind. But in this case, this is specifically a nor'wester, a localized tornadic storm. So if you see the difference between Norwester, what we call as Kalbaisakhi, it happens every year. It's a pre-monsoon thunderstorms occur during March and May, come with strong winds, lightning, heavy rain, sometimes hail. Then tornado is like a rotating column of air extending from cloud to the ground, very narrow but extremely powerful. In Odisha, we call these storms as nor'wester, Kalbaisakhi, but when the rotation becomes intense and narrow, it behaves like a local tornadic event. So this event can be called as tornado-like nor'wester or localized tornadic storm. Then how do this tornado form? Uh, First thing is, if you see heating, the first recipe is temperature, which should go above 35 to 38 degrees centigrade. Then the next recipe is moisture, which usually come from Bay of Bengal. Then third one is instability. These two things which creates a strong convection process. And fourth is wind shear. Wind changes direction in height, create rotation. Finally, cloud formation, which is called as cumulonimbus cloud, which usually happens in thunderstorms or the lightning activity, but it doesn't touches the earth surface. Only charged particles come from the atmosphere, cloud to ground. But in this case, it touches, narrow rotating column touches the ground. So you can see from the animation, like how it is formed. Then why did a tornado event or a localized event happened in Mayurbhanj because Mayurbhanj is a place which is very vulnerable to these pre-monsoon events. Last year we have hailstone, and this year we have localized tornadic storms. So the event occurred because of three things. One is heat, then moisture from the Bay of Bengal, then wind shear. So strong heating, if you see before 15th March, for last 2 3 days, the temperature went above 35 degree, where the convection process happened in the plane. Then there was moisture incursion from Bay of Bengal with a speed of 40 km/h. Then there was topographic effect, or you can say orographic effect. Similifal hills enhance the upward lifting, strengthening the storm. The fourth thing is wind shear, which is a very key factor because there were two winds blowing. One wind was surface wind, that is moist southeast in direction. Then upper wind, which is dry and rotation developed. Then finally, localized tornado formation, strong uplift with a high amount of moisture, rotation, intense spinning storm, and they really come to the ground. So tornado formed over a small concentrated area that's in the Karanjia block. So is it a rare, or you can say, is it happening due to climate change? So what is the impact of climate change in these extreme events? If you see the if there is an increase in 1 degree maximum temperature, 7 to 14% moisture will be added, and that will be dispersed in form of thunderstorms or these hailstones or these tornadic events. Maybe not completely new, because Norwester is a common phenomenon in eastern India, but tornado like events is a rare, but it will increase in coming days. Possible reason is rising March temperature, increase moisture variability, stronger instability, that's called as Cape convection available potential energy, and then changing wind pattern. So this is a natural phenomena, possibly intensified maybe in coming days. So next question is, can we predict it? If you ask me, it's very difficult to do prediction. So prediction can be with high end monitoring. So it is possible before 15 minutes. But still, if you see, there are Doppler radar data which is showing about the sequence of events which has happened from 10 o'clock till it happens at 4 to 4:30, even if till 5 when it vanishes out. So using Doppler radar, we can detect wind rotation, storm structure, rainfall intensity. It can give 30 60 minutes early warning, but still, a lot of this cloud growth monitoring from satellite data. But models or machine learning can be used to automate these things. Possibly there is a great area where research can be done for these kind of rare events. This was the sequence of events leading to this tornado formation near Karanjia. If you can see, initially there were isolated, convective cells were formed in Odisha, Jharkhand. Then surface heating and moisture incursion from Bay of Bengal. Then 12 to 1 o'clock, that was formation of organized storm line or squall line. So that was happened, and wind shear increases, strong vertical obstruct and intense reflectivity which goes above 55. Then 2:30 to 4 p.m. storm intensification, strong storm line moves towards the northern Odisha, intensifying storm shows mesoscale vortex risk for the tornado. Finally, the tornado was formed near Karanjia in Mayurbhanj, where you can see the radar reflectivity was at the highest during this period. And then finally, if you see 4:30 to 5 in the radar data, so it moves towards the coastal region. So it was almost this event was finished. Uh, so talking about will this increase in future? So what should be the long-term plan of action? If you ask me, likely yes, more heat, more instability, either in form of thunderstorm or lightning, or you can say there is a chance of this tornado. Even if there is chance of heat wave also, if the land surface is more heating happens, and then it doesn't allow the moisture to come to the land, so then there is a chance of, you know, heat waves. If the sea surface is more heated, so obviously there will be more moisture incursion will be happen to the coastal plain, or it will move to the elevated area or convergence zone where there is a chance of more lightning activity or in form of this tornado or hailstorm. And this will happen in the transition time period or transition one. Then, so we'll be expecting more lightning, more intense storms, and occasional tornado-like events. What should common people do during the storm or these kind of events? So stay indoors. It may be lightning or tornado. You have to stay indoors. Avoid trees, electric pole, open fields. But always, if you have number of store buildings are there, try to remain in the ground floor and cover your head so that it will not injure. So before a storm, watch sky, dark cloud, sudden wind, follow weather alerts, and both the cases during this time period, try to remain inside your house, which is safe. Long-term plan of action, which government should think of, early warning system, Doppler radar plus mobile alert, but still lot of research is required in these areas. Then lightning alert like Damini, giving nowcasting kind of thing. Then community awareness, last mile connectivity has to done. Infrastructure safety, particularly in these regions, strong roofing, underground power line, talking in terms of making the building safe. Then scientific planning, micro level forecasting, risk zone mapping can be done. What is the finally? What's the takeaway from this event? The recent event in Karanjia shows that Odisha is going to be vulnerable from several pre-monsoon extreme events. That may be lightning, heat wave, tornado, hailstones, uh, even if the rare events will be a new normal maybe in coming days. So that is why, with climate variability, such events intensity or frequency may increase. So, but with science, technology, awareness, last mile connectivity, we can reduce this damage and save life. Thank you.